So the term avoid, I chose the seemingly most popular term at the moment, which is transmedia entertainment. It doesn't sound very different from the others, but the good thing is it's popular both with practitioners and academics at the moment. It's kind of becoming the dominant term. It's still awkward, and I think in the future it's going to change. We'll have something funky for it. But the downside is it's a very wobbly term because everybody talks about it, nobody really knows what it is. So that's why I then used aspects of various of the topics I mentioned before and put them together in a certain way. Basically, the idea is to turn this wobbly term, transmedia entertainment, into a robust foundation for discussion, analysis, research, practice, you name it. And these are the aspects, the characteristics. The first one is that the term is based on Jenkins' transmedia idea of transmedia storytelling, so a story being spread across media, and of course, by extension, on the idea of transmediality itself. It adds the focus, Hollywood's focus on mass audiences to Jenkins' idea of niche audiences, or focus on niche audiences. It combines the incorporated paratexts, the ones that the storyteller created on purpose together with the text, and deals with them as basically being the text itself, and they're inseparable, which basically Jonathan Gray in a way says himself. It adds the real-life aspects of screen bleed, Matt Hansen's screen bleed, and lots of other various alternate reality games, and all this kind of stuff. It adds the pervasiveness or ubiquity of a story. Not that a story has to be with you at all time, but that you have the option to engage with the story at any point in time if you want. And it combines story and play, which is a bit of a difficult claim to make, especially if you talk to game scholars, where you have narratologists and ludologists, and they just fight each other, and the ones say a game has to have at least a rudimentary story, because otherwise you don't have anything that ties the bits and pieces together. And the other ones say, no, a game can't tell a story intrinsically, it's just not capable of doing so. And the reason I'm adding this here, and this is done on purpose, is that by looking at all the entertainment, all the transmedia entertainment I could find, there always is a play element in it and a story element. It might be 99% of the one, 1% of the other, but they're always both. And if you look at all these characteristics, it's not surprising. If you're supposed to put various media together, a story that happens here and a story that happens there, or if somebody puts an app on your iPhone that you can engage with or watch, the moment you do stuff like that, you become active, and this turns into play. And there just seems to be no way around it. And that's also why I chose transmedia entertainment and not transmedia storytelling, because otherwise, for example, Henry Jenkins was criticized from various areas for just focusing on story. But that's not the point. It's a new form of entertainment that simply is, to a degree, inseparable from games. Story and game, to some degree, seem to both be present in there. So, since we're approaching the end here, a few thoughts I'd like to leave you with. The current world looks like chaos. It's not, it's just a repetition. It's the birth of a new storytelling form. And to some, this new form seems to be invisible. And this is not surprising. As I mentioned before, new forms often or always parasitize older forms. And what transmedia entertainment does is it pushes it to the extreme. Transmedia entertainment consists of old forms that are interwoven. So on a quick look, it might look like just an old existing form, a book, a movie, and so forth. On a quick look, it might look like nothing new, nothing is new, but there is. And it is also not surprising that nobody takes this form seriously. As I mentioned before, all the forms always look down upon younger forms, and this one is simply the youngest one, so it's just nobody takes it seriously. And this is going to change with time, but at the moment, it's being looked down upon, and that's just simply the fact. So getting back to what I said in the first slide, there are tensions between storytelling and the internet. This is where they stem from. This form of entertainment, of storytelling, has characteristics that storytellers are simply not used to. They have never had to deal with these things, and they don't know how to deal with them. And they feel tensions, and it's not surprising. And this is exactly where my PhD comes in, of course. I'm hoping to create a model, lens, worldview, if you want to call it that, for storytellers and creators, so they can deal with this current world and not feel as overwhelmed anymore. And I call it entertainment architecture, for lack of a better term, and I abbreviated EA because entertainment architecture is just awkward and long. And the person behind it, the person creating it, the person doing it, I call the entertainment architect, and again for short ENTAR because it's just an awkward and long term. But you'll have to read my PhD for that because that's what I'm supposed to get a PhD for. Thank you.
We've pretty much hit 21 minutes now, so we've got time for one or two questions really quickly.
I mean, to date, the internet, in its relationship with other media, there's always been like a primary side. You know, obvious example, a television series, and then it has, you know, an internet site, and there's other material on there that's different, and it can take you into other places. So there's sort of pathways, but it relies on a primary site. Do you envisage a future where there won't be such a notion as a primary site?
The answer is twofold. I'm asking the same question all my interview partners. And for example, the guy who wrote the PGA definition, he speaks definitely of driving platforms. He says the driving platform to him is he deals with movies, he deals with big toy franchises, and there has to be a driving platform, and then he creates stuff around it. But that is, to a degree, just simply the fact, it is simply that way because business models are built that way. You have to make money off something. So if you sell a movie, then it's difficult for people to say, okay, you paid $15 to watch The Dark Knight, and now pay $5 to play, you know, the game in the street, and now pay $5 to watch the poster in the street, and now pay $5 for this. So it comes from the perspective that businesses are built in a way to sell a product, one specific product. And in the future, and what people are trying to create, and what I think driving platforms to a degree will stay, but on the other hand, it will be possible to sell the experience itself, to sell the entertainment architecture, whatever you want to call it.
So you could get, on any of this, one of the sites, you'll never get the whole story.
Yes.
That's what has to happen, doesn't it? You have to get bits of the story on every site.
Yes, but every single site has to be, just from experience, self-contained, because otherwise it just becomes, it doesn't make you happy. You watch something and it doesn't give you anything. So every single bit seems to have to be self-contained and make sense by itself. But in the future, let's say 5, 10, 20 years, who knows, it might be possible to just sell a $5 or $10 subscription per month, and you get all of these bits for free, even the movie in the cinema. If you have a fan base of 12 million people, like World of Warcraft at the moment, which is a niche video game, costs $15 a month. They make $2 billion a year. If you talk in these terms, you know, you can create something and give the movie away for free. But these things are just, they will, I believe experimentation in this area will happen. Yes, but yes, I think there will be a dominant platform for sure. But at the same time, I think many people will engage with the bits around it, not necessarily with the dominant platform.
Because parents have lost the battle with kids doing their homework these days, you know, and not having any intrusions. So now you get this kind of, you get kids that are doing their homework, they're listening to their iPod, they're checking their Facebook, they're listening to music, you know, it's assimilating all this media kind of simultaneously. And passing, amazingly.
Yeah, the same thing is happening to entertainment. It's not about fighting it, it's about finding a way to deal with it, because some part of entertainment, I'm not saying if you know, a good documentary will always have its place, but there is just simply something new emerging that is really exciting and really worth having a look at.
Thanks, Woitek. We're going to have to move on to Kim now. We've run out of time. So if any more questions, maybe outside.